Oh, sorry, I just did what it says. Sorry, I did it again. So, yeah. Have I reviewed any of Scream? No. Have I watched them? Kind of. Well, I have watched the first one. Second, I know all the stories, I know all of this, and the one that I haven't watched nearly at all is 5. 1 to 3, yeah. 4, I don't think I actually know about 4. 4 I know is like sort of like they're sort of like rebooting it and they did a whole thing with it. And I want to watch the other Screams, but I do know the concept. And I do know the significance of this story because it's about legacy, it's really interesting with all of that stuff. And I find this really interesting. One, I like the idea of New York being this sort of like crowded. So like a lot of the space feels a bit tight. Like most of the other Screams, it felt a bit like you are in the middle of nowhere. You are here. The next person is God knows where. But I like a lot of New York. It feels tight. It feels that closeness, like in like this and that and this and that. Also, the actual guy gets a shotgun. It's like, and it's like, what the? I generally like the kills with all of that. I think that's really interesting overall. I also like some of the I like the idea that we're talking about franchising and like the rules of franchising, because all of them talk about some things. Like the first one talks about the rules of sort of like a slasher. The second one talks about the rules of a sort of like the rules of a sequel, and I don't know if they do the same thing with the third one, but I know the fourth one, which deals with like legacy characters, deals with the rules of like the legacy and like all of this stuff if you get like a legacy film. And this deals with the rules of franchise, meaning legacy characters finally can be killed. And I like that idea. It's really fun. I know there's a lot of like legacy characters coming back, but I don't know. But it is a fun idea overall. One time, the one thing I would love, not a full reboot, not like to the point that the universe does not exist, but I love the idea that you have a complete no legacy characters, no nothing. You have 10 people who don't know but know it, and you could have that sort of like a reboot type effect. That you're dealing with like a reboot, you're dealing with new things, the stakes are completely new, we don't know who's the big main character, we don't know who's not. I would love that. I know they're not going to do it for a long while, because I want to, like they said, sort of like franchise this out, in a way. Meaning legacy characters are on the top of the block, which makes it interesting. Also, some people survive way too much in this, but I'll get into that sort of later. But I do like the idea with the masks, the idea with the whole thing. And all of that makes this really interesting as a film. And I wanted to watch it in cinemas, but again, like a couple other things, I forgot. Oopsie! But this is really good and absolutely entertaining. So the one thing, a couple of spoilers I like is the one, because each one of us sort of like Scream has sort of like has a couple of twists of like who did it. Because what I sometimes see this as, this is not just a slasher, this is a slasher whodunit, which I love as an idea. And the family dynamic, because you've always had an interesting dynamic between the slashers that I love. And I love that this one's like fully a family of it. And like for some of them I'm like, like the fake out, okay, I wasn't didn't see that coming, but debatably who doesn't really suspect like someone to die and then come back? Especially after literally falling, I think, 2 stories. but like they could have like set some stuff up. That's survivable. It's really interesting. Definitely with all of that. I also like the idea of a law enforcement. Like, oh, we can trust her. It's a law enforcement, but law enforcement is the killer. Da, da, da. I like that because it's so interesting as an idea. It's so fun. And definitely how it connects to the fourth one. I do know about the spoilers of the fourth one. I just don't know much about it. I know that, like, oh, it's one guy who one person connected and only date the person because they were the original Scream killer, etc., etc., etc. Movie story plot here. I do know that. I do know that thing. I think this is really interesting. Also, a lot of people talk about how this might not talk about much. I don't know what the fourth one talks about, but if you look at each one of the Scream films, they talk about something. First one talks... I don't know what the first one either. I know the second one talks... No, the fourth one talks about toxic fans. The third one talks about toxicity in Hollywood. And the fifth one, they're like, oh, what does the fifth one talk about? I know the first and second one talks about something, but I can't think of it right now. That's what the important part. The important part is me, why I would explain the fifth one. What does the fifth one talk about? It talks about the idea of... Because in each one of the Scream ones, the killer dies. And overall, the reason why they're trying to kill her is because they have a bit of a cancer culture thing, which I find is really interesting, how you can like kill someone's character, which I think is an interesting idea. But that's been a concept forever. Yeah, cancer culture exists now, but the way they're doing it is by spreading around false rumours. That's basically cancer. That's basically like a guy in the old street basically saying rumours about one other guy. But cancer culture just makes it worse. What I think this is talking about is sort of like blame. The idea that you can blame someone and like, oh, they deserve that. Because like some people are like, I hate them, I wish they would die. Not I would want to actually go and kill them. There's some people who I want dead and be like, and like, but if someone's like, kill them, I would sort of like, okay, they're dead now. Wow. Because the idea of wanting someone dead now, that's normal. And I think that's what we're sort of commenting on. Like, these two people killed the killer in the last one, because that's how it works. Scream kills the killer. The killers in the last one keep dying. The whole thing. And then that's how they wrapped it up. And that idea of that blame, which makes sense, but he was trying to kill them, is a thing that is part of this and is part of the motivation, which I absolutely love. I'm not gonna lie, because I absolutely do like this, like the idea that the way that they end, the two of the killers end the normal way, sort of like something goes wrong and they do sort of like, I'm not a killer, I'm just defending myself, in this sort of like a way of like, I'm attacking you because you're trying to kill me, stop, go away. Some of the stuff in the Scream 1 is definitely not some of the best, but sure, they are trying to kill you, who cares, drop a TV on them. But I like the idea that the actual person fully just turns into Ghostface and then kills them, which I love as an idea. It's like, oh, this is what you should mean, this is what your legacy is, and it's an interesting idea. It's so clever. They put on the mask, it's like, they do the whole voiceover, whole thing, and I absolutely love it. Also, I don't know if you've seen it, but I am actually getting a Ghostface cosplay together. That's coming soon. So I'm going to try and get that done. I've got a knife, I've got a mask. Oh, and he's like a cloak and some shoes. I've bought the cloak. So yeah, that's coming out. I don't know. That's just for me, for fun. I'm excited. I think this is really interesting. I just love this movie. It's just amazing. I love it. It's really entertaining. It's really fun. And yeah, I like it. This is a long one because I like the Scream franchise. I like it a lot. Channel Awesome talked about it, but I just like this. They talked about the first one, but I like this. Yay. That's a lot. So yeah, it's really good, like I keep saying. I didn't want to talk much about it, so this is really good. It's entertaining, and 100% go and watch it. So yeah, this is really entertaining. This is 100% worth watching. I hope you like, subscribe, comment, and good night.